An Israeli man who works at the Israeli embassy in Beijing was stabbed on October 13 in front of a supermarket. According to the AP News, Beijing police said they had arrested a suspect, a 53-year-old foreign man. They described the victim, 50 years old, as a family member of an Israeli diplomat. No motive was given for the attack, and it was unclear if it was connected to the war between Israel and the militant group Hamas. An Israeli government statement said, the employee was transferred to hospital and he is in a stable condition. A video posted on social media showed a man with a knife grappling with another man on the ground and stabbing him several times, leaving a trail of blood stains on the sidewalk. Unverified videos on X, formerly known as Twitter, showed a blood-stained man lying on the pavement by a car, telling bystanders he was from the Israeli embassy. In the video, a police officer can be heard identifying himself as a member of the Xinyuanli police station, located in northeastern Beijing, near the embassy district in a popular market frequented by foreigners for fresh produce. People working in the area said they heard the victim shouting as police cars and an ambulance arrived. A police cordon was set up and the blood later washed away. The stabbing occurred as Muslims across the world took to the streets in large protests after October 13 prayers over Israel's intense bombing campaign in Gaza, following the unprecedented and deadly incursion by the militant group Hamas into southern Israel on October 7. Also on October 13, Israel sharply criticized China's statement about the initial Hamas attack. Israel's foreign ministry said Ambassador Rafi Harpaz had expressed his nation's deep disappointment to China's envoy for the Middle East, Zhai Jun. The two diplomats talked by phone on October 12. The Israeli statement said there was no clear and unequivocal condemnation of the terrible massacre committed by the terrorist organization Hamas against innocent civilians and the abduction of dozens of them to Gaza. It added, the Chinese announcements do not contain any element of Israel's right to defend itself and its citizens, a fundamental right of any sovereign country that was attacked in an unprecedented manner and with cruelty that has no place in human society. Asked about the Israeli statement, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that China opposes acts harming civilians and violating international law. He said, China will continue to work unremittingly for de-escalation of the situation and the resumption of peace talks. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, speaking at a joint news conference with the EU foreign policy chief, said that China's Mideast envoy would travel to the region soon to work toward a ceasefire and de-escalation. China has supported the Palestinians in their demand for an independent state. Wang said, Israel has the right to establish a state, and so does Palestine. According to Wang, the failure to create a Palestinian state is the root cause of the conflict. In Beijing, about half a dozen plainclothes police were stationed outside the Israeli embassy in addition to the normal contingent of uniformed officers, some 2 kilometers, 1.25 miles, away at the Palestinian embassy in Beijing. Plainclothes officers were also on hand and one was tightening wires on a fence. Since the war broke out, anti-Semitic remarks have surged on Chinese social media, bombarded with hostile messages. The Israeli embassy in Beijing is filtering comments on its Chinese social media account. The embassy selected a comment that said, "Support Israel. Destroy the terrorist organization." The remarks got 5,700 likes. Chinese state media have blamed the U.S. for fanning tensions in the region. Yaqiu Wang, research director for China, Hong Kong and Taiwan at Freedom House, said, the Chinese government has always propagated a narrative that places the blame squarely on Israel, a key U.S. ally, because this aligns with a key objective of the ruling Communist parties, propaganda, to undermine the U.S. in the international community. She added, this time, it is no exception. While the U.S. remains Israel's top ally, China in recent months had tried to reach out to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ultranationalist and ultra-Orthodox government as tensions had risen with Washington over Netanyahu's planned overhaul of the country's judiciary, which sparked months of protests. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin were in the region on October 13 in support of Israel, while President Joe Biden also has spoken out against the Hamas attack. America also has sent additional arms to Israel, deployed one aircraft carrier group and plans to send another to discourage a regional escalation as Israel prepares for a possible ground offensive in Gaza. The U.S. ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, tweeted on X that, "We are shocked by today's attack on an Israeli diplomat in Beijing," and said the embassy had offered its full support to the Israeli embassy and the Israeli community in China. Hamas leader Khalid Mashal called for a global day of jihad on October 13, 2023, amid the 2023 Israel-Hamas war that Hamas initiated on October 7. This has led to fears for Jewish safety in the diaspora. In addition to Beijing, other parts of the world have experienced a large number of attacks and assaults. In Arras, France, a man of Chechen origin with suspected ties to Islamic extremism stabbed a teacher to death at his former high school and critically wounded 2 others. Many states in the U.S. have witnessed attacks by anti-Israel demonstrators towards police and burning U.S. and Israel flags. Many demonstrators were arrested after assaulting police officers during a protest in Germany. At a demonstration following prayers on Friday in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, multiple Indonesian school children were seen holding up machine guns and waving Palestinian flags, their young faces smeared with war paint. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from Understand China, and thank you for tuning in.